Klein with Hey everyone, it's Rob Foglia and Jessica Klein with Foglia Properties at Keller Williams here in Nashville, and we're coming to you live today. I want to tell you all. We want to tell you all a quick story about how someone we know how someone we know basically how the decisions they made cost them $30,000 in the selling process here, and when they were selling their home, and so we're going to tell you a quick story here, and we're ready to get started, Jessica.
Yeah, and this is kind of a cautionary tale, obviously, and we care so much about the people we work with and the people we're connected with. And a lot of these decisions, like you talked about, are based in just not having some of the facts up front. So we want to give you the real facts so that you can make the best decisions for you and your biggest one of your biggest assets, which is your home.
Exactly. And let us share too on the front end. This is not a client that we represented. It was a client
Right.
that it was somebody that I had actually talked to about a year and a half ago. Long story short, they never listed their home. And they ended up selling. In their mind, it was by owner to a real estate investor. However, in reality, they contracted with a real estate wholesaler, and that wholesaler sold the contract to somebody. I'm assuming most people watching this video may not quite know what wholesaling is. And this is not supposed to be an insult to wholesalers, but wholesalers basically make their money off of homeowners that don't know any better. They're basically a wholesaler contracts with the seller, and then they find an interested party to buy it. Most of the time they position themselves as cash buyers, calling themselves cash buyers, when in reality, so many of them don't even have $1,000 to their name, let alone $200,000 or $300,000 to buy a home. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and just to say it in kind of more basic terms, if I were a wholesaler, I would identify properties that I think are priced below their true value. I would go to that seller and say, "Hey, I'm an investor, or I'm a home, I'm looking for a home for myself." I would put that in. I would go under contract on that home to say I want to buy it, and then on the back end, while that one is processing, I would find another buyer who's willing to pay more. So then my earnings would be the difference in my contract price and the new contract price.
Exactly. And so the person I was speaking to this morning, and I'll leave names and addresses out of this because we don't want to offend anybody. But the person I was talking to this morning, let me just pull up a calculator, fun with numbers real quick. She sold the home for $180,000, right? Well, when I looked it up in the tax records, because I was talking to her, had everything pulled up. So I was like, I was thinking to myself, it actually says it sold for 190. And so when I looked deeper at it, she sold it to 180 to XYZ, we'll just call it XYZ Holdings Company, who was the wholesaler, who turned around and sold it to the new buyer for $190,000. So right there, she lost $10,000 right off the bat, even though, and yes, you might be thinking, well, hey, that's like a real estate commission and all that. It isn't, because she thought that she was saying, hey, I'm going to sell directly to person A, to this real estate investor, this person who's buying for 180, when in reality, in my opinion, she was being misled, because she had no clue that it sold for 190, that it was resold that same day to somebody else. And so I know the title of this video, though, is how somebody lost $30,000, not $10,000, right? So let's tell you the second part to the story and why I think it matters. Because this home, I'd been in the home last year. It was a rental property for this person. It was kind of rough. I mean, it wasn't like holes in the wall rough, like needing to be torn down, but it needed some fresh paint. It needed some new carpet. It needed a little bit of cosmetic love, right? And so you might be thinking, well, maybe this person didn't have the money to do it and get full retail price for the home. In my opinion, full retail price for the home is probably about 225, 230 right now. In our market, that could be 250 even, just based on how homes are selling. And yet, just call it 225, 230. I think that's a very fair market value for what we're talking about. And if she actually needed probably about $10,000 worth of work to the home in order to get that price. So here, actually, real quick before we even get to Keller offers. So if you think about this for a minute, she sold it for 180. If she could have gotten 225, that's $45,000 that she missed out on, right? You might be thinking, well, hey, again, we're talking $30,000 for this property, or that she lost out on. It's because of this program that we have pulled up right here, Keller Offers. So again, we are a Keller Offers certified real estate team. And so what that means is we actually have two products we can offer you through Keller Offers. One's a cash offer on your home, but the other one, and that's the one I was thinking about for her, and that's the ready to sell program. I feel like I'm talking way too much, Jessica. So do you want to share what the ready to sell program is?
I mean, I think that it's a program that's really great for people who, like you said, have some minor cosmetic, repairs that, or well, improvements that need to be done to their house, like you said, paint and flooring, that sort of thing. And it's, it's a program that kind of, they give you a little bit of money for that, and then they help you to sell it and make a bigger profit than you would if you hadn't made those repairs.
No, exactly. That's well said, because they basically, as long as you have enough equity in the home, they're going to help provide you with the money if you don't have the liquidity, the cash in hand to go put a couple $1,000s in new carpet in, or hire a painter for this was a 1,100 square foot home, so I mean a painter, we're talking $2,500 maybe. Flooring in that home, we're talking maybe $2,000 maybe. So I mean, we're talking probably $5,000 here to get this home ready, to get that 225 price. Even if we want to call it 10 just to be conservative, 5 to 10 grand. I mean, if we're talking again, she lost out on basically $45,000. That's retail price minus what she actually got. If we subtract the $5,000 that we're talking about, well, I went the wrong way here. So hold on just 1 second. So we're talking what, 45,000 minus the 5,000 in repairs. And of course there would be a real estate commission to that goes along with this. I mean, at 225 we charge 6%. So I mean, at 225, what's that quick math total? That's like 13 grand, something like that. If I'm doing the mental math right, somewhere in there. Let's just say it's 13,000, just so we don't bore everybody with too many numbers. That's $27,000 that this person lost out on, that she could have gotten because of what? Because of a wholesaler, and because she didn't know her options. And so we do these videos. We send these videos out every single week. We do these on Facebook every single week, not to just get in front of y'all, but we want to make sure that y'all know what your options are, so that you don't turn around and lose out on $27,000. Because I promise you, she did. In this market, she could have gotten so much more money than what she ended up getting for the home. And unfortunately, she didn't know about her options. It was, in no judgment on her, but it was poor planning. Let's just call it a spade a spade. It was poor planning by her. And she lost out on I mean, $27,000 is a lot of money for everybody, really, but especially for some people.
And I have a strong feeling, because this was sold by owner, that it was probably more difficult for her to do it that way. Because,
Possibly.
even if there weren't any showings or anything, the Keller Offers program is very hands off. I mean, it's essentially, it's very simple. And when you have professionals on the back end, like us, or like any other, very high quality real estate team, they take care of so many of the logistics for you. And, even having recently bought a home myself, there's a lot that goes into from, the process from going under contract to closing. And the more you can relieve some of the stress during that process, the better it really is for everybody, especially if you're getting more money in your pocket at the end.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's what it comes down to. And that's what I want to encourage everyone to think about as a final message for this video. And that's, think about, and I cleared the numbers, so I'll close the calculator here, but think about what the numbers are actually going to look like for you when you're comparing your options. If it is, we didn't even really touch on cash offers and things like that, but if it is a cash offer versus an offer after you've been on the market, if it is looking at a ready to sell program, if it is a wholesale deal, if it is selling by owner, whatever it is, I'd encourage you, A, to look at the numbers, but then B, to look at how easy is this going to be? Do you have somebody handling this for you? Or is it something that you're having to take a hands-on role with? Because there's a price to pay for convenience as well. But you know what I'm trying to get at. But long story short, when all is said and done, if you're getting the more convenient option, the easier option for you as the consumer, as the home seller, as the person who's buying a service, basically, if it's more convenient and you're making more money doing it, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Yep, no brainer. So get all the information. We're always here to give it to you 100% for free. And, we're here for you whenever you need us.
Yeah, exactly. Also, if you need something, reach out to us. If you have a question about this, if you don't believe the numbers, because y'all, these are legit numbers, reach out. I'm happy to have a one-on-one conversation with you. You can call us 615-591-5665. If you're getting this in your email, respond to the email and talk with us. We're happy to talk with you there. If you're live on Facebook, by all means, leave a comment and we can talk with you live. And speaking of which, are there any live comments, Jessica?
It does not look like it.
All right, cool. Then we can probably cut the video off here, but I appreciate y'all checking this out. And as always, until next week, we will see you then.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.